Well, now that it's recording, I feel like I have to say welcome. We've been chatting for a few minutes, but yeah, thanks for everyone for jumping on the call, and hello to those who are going to watch this later on. Tonight, I've got my beautiful friend Jacquie, all the way from Tassie, 10 degrees, freezing cold. So we're going to have a chat about herbal medicine, and I know there's a few people on the call who have a bit of a background, either in plant medicine or in supplements and things like that. So I just thought it's really nice to get a secondary person to kind of take the pressure off us and to give us another opinion. And I really have always trusted Jacquie at that space. But just to start with, I thought I'd throw out just a question to the group about the law of least effort. And if anybody kind of thought about that, if they kind of practiced anything from that idea over the last few days, and just, any insights maybe that anybody had.
Yeah, I've got one for you, Kim. It's funny. I've got an audio book called U Squared by a gentleman named Price Pritchard, and it's about taking quantum leaps. And he sort of talks about a quantum leap is something you're already ready to take. You've just been stopping yourself from taking it. And the whole book really is about what you were saying about the law of least effort. It's like, we're so much more capable than what we realize, and we're actually ready to take that next step, but it's about letting go and taking, sort of trusting, I guess, and taking that the path of least effort. And what showed up for me is like how it's my beliefs that hold me apart from taking those steps. So I'm the one that's putting the effort in place, or the resistance in place. And it's sort of bringing awareness to it. And then when I bring awareness to the areas that I am sort of holding on, then I have the opportunity to make a different choice. And then I can allow that law of least effort to take hold. So that's sort of what showed up for me.
Beautiful. Anyone else? That idea of acceptance, which, at the moment feels like hard work. Anyone else have any comments just about the law of least effort? What were some of the things? Today, I will accept people, situations, circumstances, and events as they are. I thought that was a big one. How are you going, Jade? I know we're super close to the date. There must be I would assume your acceptance would be getting challenged fairly squarely right about now.
Yeah, it's a bit mixed, to be honest. Like, I've been really crook the last probably 5 days, and I had Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off work, and part of me was like, no, go in, your days are numbered, like spend it with the kids. But my body was just like, no, like you are going to end up in hospital sick. So that was a really hard decision. Nothing to actually do with work, but just the fact that I'm trying to absorb every minute with the kids there. But yeah, like it's a bit mixed. I'm kind of looking forward to it in a weird way. Very like
coming.
Yeah, like I think that's a thing. Like we didn't find out 2 weeks ago. Like we found out like 3 months ago. So I've had a lot of time to ride the roller coaster. But I mean, at the same time, like I need to put a lot of things in place before I go and things like that, plant a few seeds. But yeah, like I think I'm ready to, even though I'm shit scared, just see what it's going to be like. Different change of pace, and yeah, I guess just another option. And but a bit like I think that's why I am sick now, because all the stress and everything that built up over the last few months, I've accepted it earlier than I thought I would. which is why I'm sick now, because it's all come out. So yeah, I'm actually feeling okay, like scared and sad and everything, but like deep in my core, I'm good. So yeah.
Acceptance is total and complete. I accept things as they are in this moment and not as I wish they were.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Jade. Well done. Well done. Any last sort of insights into the law of least effort, and if anybody put any of that into practice and had found it useful over the last few days? Beautiful. All right, well, let's kick in, hey? So tonight I would love to introduce you guys to Jacquie McColl. Jacquie's been a long-term friend of mine now. We have worked in a big clinic together. We've been really good friends. We continue to catch up. But I'm going to throw it to Jacquie so that she can give us a bit of an update on life as it is right now, because it's definitely different to when we were hanging out in DY.
I think that just means we're getting old, Kim.
Oh, God. Probably.
So I don't know what Kim's told anyone about me, but I'm a herbalist. I was working in Sydney. Now we've moved to Tasmania to live a different life and grow our own food and plant our orchard and get out of the big city. So so I was a herbalist in Sydney, and I'm doing some herbal medicine here too. And I guess that's why Kim and I have been talking about, well, at the moment, how there's really no talk about any alternative medicine for support for viruses or even adaptogen. I was just thinking of Jay when she was talking about being sick, and herbal medicine is fantastic for just adaptogens. So I was just reading a bit about adaptogens before I started, and it's about adapting to stress in the current situation. And I'll step back though and tell you about herbal medicine, I guess. Does anyone know about, Kim, has anyone ever had any herbal medicine, or would you like me to explain?
Well, there's a real mixed bag here. So I feel like there's a few people on the call that actually really understand plants and the medicine in plants. I feel like there's a few people who are into Tyler Tolman and fasting, things like that. We've got Lisa, who's into nutritional medicine and also probably supplements. But yeah, there's a mix of different people on the call. But yeah, I think, even the people who sort of have a bit of background, I think we're just keen to learn and get your opinion from your research, particularly into the, viruses and the current climate. And I guess to understand a little bit more about what herbal medicine is, like the thing that I always come back to, it's like they're pushing, when a doctor pushes drugs, I'm like, well, every drug is essentially based on a medicine that came from nature. So do you know what I mean? It's the difference, that volatile nature of a plant versus I can make it 5 milligrams every time in a medicine, whatever, but it's still based on that beautiful nature. So how would you describe herbal medicine, Jack?
Well, a basic way to think about the medicine in plants is we use it every day anyway. We all drink tea and coffee. So coffee's got alkaloids in it, which is a really strong plant medicine. We get aspirin from a plant. Morphine comes from a plant. So we all use plant medicines all the time. So we're quite used to them. So it's not something you have to believe in that's kind of might be there or might not be there. There's actual plant constituents in a plant. They're there. And they're part of the plants that is the insecticide of the plant. So when a plant is being attacked by something, it makes a secondary metabolite. And that's why it's so bitter. It's the medicine of the plant to fight off an insect. And so we use that as a phytochemical that has a therapeutic benefit. It can be antiviral, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, and lots of herbs do lots of things. They don't just do one thing, and they're synergistic. So say you had a herb that might lower blood pressure, but it won't lower it if it doesn't need lowering. It's the same with the immune system. You might get an antiviral herb or immunomodulator herb. So it's not going to rev up the immune system so it overreacts. It's just going to modulate it when it's doing too much or not doing enough. So there's a lot of herbs that are immunomodulators. So that's so at the moment, I mean, antiviral herbs and immunomodulating herbs, they're sorts of herbs that would be really good to have, and no one's talking about those sorts of things. There's no cure for COVID. Like, I'm not, well, you know, we're not saying that herbal medicine is going to fix everything, but it can certainly help the system adapt to stuff, and we can use it to take control of our own health at the moment rather than waiting to be told to do something. Yeah. You talked about supplements too, like zinc. I don't know whether anyone here's, like, in the media, they talk about vitamin D and C and zinc and quercetin and all those things that could be helpful at the moment. I mean, quercetin is a flavonoid, so it's in herbal medicine. It's in a lot of the plant medicine that we use. So those sorts of things are already there. There's just not one thing that's going to help everybody. It's already there. Yes. I've gone off track.
Would you, like, just on that, I mean, you know, you can go on and there's different protocols on the internet about, yeah, you should be taking zinc, D, C, quercetin. And I guess that idea of quercetin helping the zinc actually penetrate into the cell. You know, are they things that you think are valid? What are your thinking around all of that?
Look, I think it's all really valid, but I don't think there's one thing that you would say, oh, look, everyone needs to take this one thing and then we're all going to be fine. As a naturopath, what I think the best thing to do is to address any underlying health issues anyway. We really need to, I mean, maybe this is a chance for us all to get as healthy as we can. I mean, there's so much about what's going on that you need to be in a good place. So if we do get sick, we're in the good place to fight it off. So it's a good time to address all those underlying health issues and get off medicines, and certain pharmaceuticals make things worse. So there's really not one thing that one person should do, and it's just reductionist medicine to think that there's one thing that can fix everything. So naturopathy still comes, naturopathic principles stay the same with COVID or with anything else, in that we have to address the underlying health and get us to the best healthy position we can be in. Yeah.
And I guess, you know, I had a look at the remedy you've given me, and I noticed there's quite a few adaptogens in that. Who would have thought Kimmy's stressed? So yeah, like, you know, I know that you sent me some herbs. Like, if you then say sent Chris some herbs, would they typically be the same, or how would that look?
Well, probably not, but they could overlap, of course, and that's what's really good, to talk to the person, see what's going on for them. There might be other things that need addressing that that are more suited to them. I mean, adaptogen herbs, adaptogen herbs work for everyone because we all have a bit of stress. I mean, it's a really weird term, adaptogen. I was just talking to my husband, telling Craig about adaptogens. He says, no one's going to understand what an adaptogen herb is. But so I've got a little thing to read to you. But yeah, well, I'll read that to you now, because an important attribute of adaptogens is their ability to restore and maintain stability by nourishing the root system of the body, thus providing an overall enhanced state of vitality. So I guess the point of adaptogens is the vitality to adapt to stress. It even goes on to say, this is a textbook I had from 2013. It says, now more than ever, the ability to adapt rapidly to our environment is essential, whether our challenges include managing emergencies, engaging in recreational activities, competing in sports, or climbing the corporate ladder. We need the flexibility, fortitude, and reserves of energy that we have in times of stress. So it covers all of that. So that's, most of the herb mixes I make will have a base of adaptogens in them, because we all need that. And then specifically things for different people, whatever, you know, we've all got something going on. So that's why we make up different herbs for different people and what suits them.
Yeah. So any other sort of, I guess, knowledge or sort of thinking that you want people to take on board in terms of, you know, viruses? You know, COVID is obviously around, but flu, COVID, colds, I mean, poor old Jade's just had basically, I guess, a bronchitis of sorts. You know, is there sort of thinking around that at the moment?
Well, for Jade, I mean, I'd love to, you know, she'd do really well on an adaptogen because obviously she's going through stress like everyone else is. So that would be a great basis, and then something for, you know, clearing out the mucus and making her as healthy as she can be. So when something else comes along, you're ready for it. So just getting yourself in the best position, so when something comes along, that you're ready for it. Yeah.
And so in a consult, Jack, like if people sort of are interested in connecting with you and understanding because I think, you know, people kind of go, what the hell is kinesiology and what would that look like? And I just go, well, I don't know. You'll have to come and we'll figure that out together. But probably a little bit different for you. So do you want to just give maybe a quick rundown on if people sort of had a session, what would that look like? And what sort of questions would you ask, and would you be going over food? Would you be going over herbs? You know, what sort of things would you cover?
Yeah, well, we can do all of that. It's just really, I find out what's going on with that person. You know, if food's their thing, if that's what they're struggling with. I mean, blood glucose is important at the moment because we find that that's really, well, they say the virus really affects people with low vitamin D or badly managed blood glucose. So if that might be a particular thing we manage now with food or something, but if that's not your thing, it might be another issue. So I usually treat people with about a 200 ml bottle of herbs, and that's a really strange thing because if people haven't had herbs before, they taste pretty weird. So it's really good to start small and see what people like. So we might just see what's going on for people, see what's the best thing we need to address, and then make up a herbal mix. Or maybe they just need some supplements. I mean, there's a place in Sydney that I put a script in online, and then you can go in and buy them, and then they send it to you. And that might be just getting good practitioner stuff, because you don't really want to buy that stuff over the counter at the chemist. You don't know what's in it, whether it is what they say it is, or whether it's even got the level of what you need. So that's a good part, to get practitioner only herbs and get them through Place Vitality in Sydney, and they can get sent. So it really depends on where someone needs some support.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Throwing it out to the group, I mean, we've got a herbalist right here. Has anyone got any specific questions that they're kind of interested in, particularly around like plant-based medicine or diet, or any other questions around that?
Big questions.
Well, I have a question, Jackie. You talk about sort of that, sort of the adaptogens being sort of a good basis for all of us. Would you be able to explain like sort of some of the plant families maybe that would fall into that category?
Yeah, they're probably not going to mean anything to you. I mean, what's a good adaptogen? Withania, rhodiola. They're probably plants that you don't know. Western herbal medicine tends to be based on a lot of English and American herbal stuff. And there's some good Chinese herbs too. I mean, Scutellaria bacalensis, or Chinese skullcap, is actually an antiviral herb. So we use a lot of Chinese herbs as well. I'd never heard of any. I mean, licorice might be one that people know. I mean, there's all the basic herbs that the culinary herbs, but the other herbs are just plants that I wouldn't have even heard of them before. I don't know. Have you heard of any of those?
Withania, definitely. Rhodiola withania, that seems to be a good one for me.
Yeah.
You always call it the big warm hug. I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Need a hug.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good to have those things. I mean, if we're not going to go down the path of, if you're not going to go down and have a vaccine, for instance, it's good to make sure you're in the best health possible. So, or even if you have been, it's really good to have some stuff to support you through, anything, fatigue or anything else going on. Yeah.
Look, and I think it's interesting. A lot of what we've been focused on is dealing with just the practical kind of behavioral side of everything. And that's something that, you know, we've all kind of realized that we're, you know, wow, like we're dealing with the fallout of, you know, jobs and this and that. But the conversation really hasn't been about health for a really long time. And so that was a big part of what Chris and I wanted to kind of bring the calls back to, is going, okay, so yes, there's some practical things that we're going to have to deal with, but they're going to increase your stress. And we know that when your stress increases, obviously your immune system becomes depressed. So therefore, you know, how can we start obviously supporting the stress levels through regular meditation, things like that, positive calls, solution focused calls, etc. But also I think now we're kind of going, well, you know, if we're going to be the, you know, flying the flag, then we, you know, if this thing comes through, we all want to nail it, you know, and just be like, fuck you, you know, like that was hard, not. So yeah, so, you know, getting somebody like Jack on the team, and I think is really important, particularly, you know, she supports me in my health. And I just wanted, I guess, because I trust her so much and I know that she's on the same page, is that, I threw Jackie a bit of a challenge to maybe do a bit of a intro offer, so that if people were interested in actually having an individualized medicine made for them, that they could actually have some time with Jackie. I think, you know, there's lots of little websites out there that just going, you know, this is the protocol. The beauty of what Jack and I spoke about is, well, how do you know? Like, yeah, we have to actually look at you individually in order to be able to figure out what's going to be the protocol for you. And the best protocol, of course, is being in really good health. So Jack, in terms of your offer, how do people get in contact with you? What would that look like?
Well, I can give them, I can send you the number, and you can email everyone. I mean, I'd just love everyone to have the access to herbal medicine and some nutrients and supplements, and good quality ones. Because if we're going to do anything to show them that it's, you know, health's the main thing, it's the most important thing. And I just love everyone to be healthy, so that when it comes along, we can go, oh, well, get lost, you know, we're all fine. We're all, you know, we don't need your stuff. So I just like people to be able to have some stuff ready so they can be ready for it. So yeah, I guess I could.
And I think but that's important too, though, Jack. Post around here is actually quite slow at the moment, and we noticed that when you tried to post some stuff to me, it took a couple of weeks. So I think that's the other thing too. Like I've got my my stash of herbs here. I'm taking them regularly anyway, but Jackie's just then keeping me stocked up, so that if we do get sick or anything comes through, then, you know, I've got everything right here that I need to, which is great.
Yeah, and I guess that's a really important thing, is the early treatment of any virus or anything. It's right at the beginning. There's no point in waiting a week or something and then trying to chase it. I mean, herbal medicine isn't a pharmaceutical. It's not going to come along and just knock something out. It's a really gentle kind of medicine. So it's really good to have at the beginning when you're getting sick or getting something, and supporting your system as you go along, and then having it there. Yeah, but the postage has been a bit weird. I think it's getting better. I mean, the supplements and stuff would come from Sydney, so that doesn't take as long, but the planes seem to come to Tassie, but they take a long time to go back the other way. It seems to take a long time to send it back up there. But but I can send little bottles of herbs in the mail. That's fine. They go in the plane. And I've been ordering stuff in, and I've got my dispensary full of stuff. So if people want to get some stuff and have it ready to go, that'd be lovely for them, for me, for everyone.
Yeah, perfect. I'll I know that you've got an offer. I can put that up on our group page. It's a very good offer, Jack. I was like, well, maybe I put too much pressure on.
People to have, I want them to have access to it. I mean, no one I know is talking about this stuff. And I mean, when I went through college, there were loads of us. There's lots of herbalists around. We all should be able to access it. It's really, It's because there's no profit in it from a pharmaceutical point of view, so no one backs it. But yeah, and also there's a follow-up in that offer too, because I don't want people just to get their stuff and then forget about it, because they probably won't like drinking it and need to work through that and figure out, they need to know that it's good for them so that they'll keep drinking it, because it usually comes in a 200 ml bottle. It's ethanol based. It's the bitter part of the plant, so it doesn't taste very nice, but that's the medicine. So sometimes
I always go, the shitter it tastes, the better it is for me.
That's why you're a perfect patient.
Oh, compared to Chinese herbs, Jack, they're pretty good. And I know that Emma Sternberg used to put what did she make? Even maple syrup or something in hers, like for people who.
Yeah, no, I don't let people. Sorry, there's no sweet stuff. You just you can't take it.
Suck it up.
Yeah.
Kim, we have a question for Jacquie. Monica just asked, Jacquie, do you use iridology, or how do you diagnose?
Yeah, look, I have done iridology. I don't really use it, especially now with Zoom and stuff. I don't really diagnose anything, actually. I just take people's, we just go through the body systems and what's happening really, and just treat the symptoms of what we see. And then we're really building the vitality. So just where someone's at and what's going on for them and what the deficiencies are, and just slowly build up some vitality in the system. And that's why I keep harping back to the adaptogens, because really that's a great place to start, just building up someone's vitality. So yeah, iridology is great, but there's just symptoms at the moment, especially with Zoom. Yeah.
Awesome. And yeah, I was going to say, and Sarah has just asked as well, have you had any experience with treating COVID yet?
No, I haven't yet. I've been waiting. I've been ready, 2 years now. I've been going, right, I'm going to be ready. And I keep ordering stuff and looking at different things, and there's all different stuff. So, I mean, I have to say that I can't treat COVID. As a naturopath, I can never say that I can treat COVID. So, I mean, we do a lot of experience with viral stuff. I mean, I've treated glandular fever and Ross River fever and lots of viral stuff. But yeah, so
yeah, no one has it.
no one's got it here. We're waiting. We're in Tasmania. We had one guy that came in over the border, tested positive, and they shut us down for 3 days. So no, and there was no cases from it. So I don't know what's going to happen when it actually starts.
Yeah, look at this. My naturopath has just introduced no jab, no appointment. Really? Oh my God, what is happening?
I'm going to do it the other way.
I love it. So yeah, guys, what I'll do is I'll definitely pop Jackie's beautiful offer onto the site, and that'll have all of her details on it, so that you can give her a call. At the initial conversations, we thought about, okay, we'll just like put together this pack. But the more we spoke about it, it's like, well, no, that's setting people up to fail. Like, what I need is going to be different to what Chris needs, compared to Jade needs, compared to Sarah needs. So we actually have to give Jacquie the opportunity to have a chat with anybody who actually wants to get some herbs, just so that she can personalize and individualize that for you. So I'll make sure that I put that up. Was there any other questions?
Yeah, supplements. They could be supplements too, Kim. It doesn't have to be herbs. I mean, if someone just wants to have a chat to see if they want to try some, they don't have to. I mean, you might just want some supplements, and a good practitioner-only supplement that might help you. But I can't just offer a general thing without seeing someone. I'm not allowed to, really. I'm supposed to see someone and then give them a prescription of something. So, yeah, I'm happy just to chat though. That's fine. Even if you just want to try that before you have a consult.
Absolutely. And, you go through diet and lots of things as well. So it's a full naturopathic consult, which is lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any other questions there? I feel like
Yeah, we've got another one, Kim. Marty and Sal have just asked Jacquie, do you know somewhere where we can get seeds or plants that are beneficial for immune health? We would like to start growing these herbs.
Yeah, there's a place called All Rare Herbs. I think they sell like seedlings, but it depends on what you want to grow. And then from my point of view, you've got to grow it and then turn it into, like, we extract it in a tincture when you're making a herbal medicine. I guess depends on what people want to grow. I mean, you can buy a lot of dried herbs too, and it's different in them. Now that I'm here, I can call you on the mainland, because we can't get stuff sent here. So on the mainland, I think all rare herbs is a place. But I can think of some other ones if you can let me know what sort of herbs, what plants you want. Yeah.
We'd sort of just be interested in really growing anything and everything, because we have quite the space for it. So we just want to have a large variety of things. So yeah, whatever you can think of, be good, please.
I mean, you could just start with stuff like thyme. Thyme tea is really antibacterial and just great. Just those basic sort of those herbs. If you, but yeah, I could.
Plenty going. We're just after diversity. We'd like to have everything if we can. We don't plan on using it, but we will if we need to, if required. But we'd rather be growing the plant than relying on purchasing the herbs from somewhere else. Because if we one day can no longer purchase them, then we can't have them. But if we are growing them, then we think that's the best way to have that available to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, that's why we're in Tasmania. I want to do the same thing. We're just about to build a house, and we've got to get a driveway put to the top of the hill, and then I'm going to have a whole herb garden for that reason too, because we don't really know how to grow our own stuff anymore. I mean, even me, I'm relying on a company to make it. So what I want to be able to do is turn it into a herbal medicine, which would be great. But yeah, I can look up. I can't really remember at the moment where the herbal. There's a few places you can buy stuff from. And yeah, just throw everything in and see what you can get. I mean, echinacea is great to grow, but then you've got to work out what part of the plant you need to harvest too. Like some's the root and some's the leaves and the berries. Like elderberry would be fantastic. I mean, you could just, that's great for colds, and that's the berry that you can just put in even vodka, because I extracted in an ethanol mixture, which you can't buy. But you could do that in a vodka or something, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, we do have some sort of old school herbal books, and they do sort of describe, which parts to use and everything, and how to use it. And so. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to, if you need someone to chat to about that, because things like kava, if you use the leaves and you can use the roots, but if you're using the leaves, they can be poisonous.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to be careful with some plants. But yeah, most books cover all that. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Great, sounds great.
Oh, you should see their place, Jack. You'd just be like, oh, this is awesome.
Well, that'd be the best thing to do. It's just, why can't we should all grow our own medicine? I mean, that's what herbal medicine's about. We should be growing our own stuff.
Here's a good one. You can't even see horny goat's weed. There you go.
Yeah. And it does what that's what it's for.
Love it.
You guys do not need any more of that.
They got how many? 5, 6?
Yeah.
5.
No prescription for horny goat's weed for Becca, please.
No, I actually haven't got any here anyway. I haven't got any, but I can give you something for the opposite if you like. No. See, individualized medicine, that's what we need. Yeah. All right.
I was just going to say, I think that's really powerful too, Jackie, because the doctors that I have seen that are claiming big success in treating COVID talk about individualized medicine, even though they're using certain pharmaceuticals. They said it's not a blanket approach, and that, depending on the age of the patient, their symptoms, how long since, like all of this stuff comes into consideration in the different effectiveness of what they would use. And I appreciate that you've been upfront with that tonight, that it's not, hey guys, all just take this one tincture and it's going to be magic. It's like, well, depending on where you're at in life,
Yeah, and what medicines you're on is really important. Like I've been reading a lot of stuff showing different sorts of like ACE inhibitors, lots of medicines that make it worse, that the virus can attach to. So they'd be really good things to address any blood pressure, to get you off ACE inhibitors. Not that I would ever tell anyone what medication to take or not take, but those things are important. Yeah, because there's a lot of guys talking like Peter McColl saying early treatment, you know, and they treat with all sorts of different stuff, but it's just not one thing. They're saying it's lots of different things. So it's no panic to say, I know everyone heard about glutathione recently, so all my suppliers sold out of glutathione, but we make our own glutathione, and if we eat the right fruit and veg, then we can make our own. And then there's quercetin in all sorts of herbs and things. So there's just not one thing. It's just not one vitamin C. There's lots of different different ways to get it too. So yeah.
Well, because your herbs would be like super high in vitamin C, but you're not necessarily taking vitamin C, right? So
yeah, that's right.
The thing to get around it. You'll be getting the I guess the chemical compounds of those things, but just in a different way.
Yeah, that's so the flavonoids, all the flavonoids will be in there, and then they're synergistic and working together. And the other thing I was thinking, what you were saying, Chris, was about individualized medicine. I mean, that's the whole point of public health, of vaccinating 90% of the population. It's not individualized health. I mean, you can have it or not have it, I don't really care, but it's not individualized. It's not taking a risk benefit for that particular person at their particular age. I mean, I've got a 24-year-old son who, you know, he's got a different risk benefit, and that needs to be taken into account. We just can't blanket and say, I mean, that's my opinion, that we just can't blanket and say this is what we need to do. So individualized medicine, it's what naturopaths have always done. It's what we continue to do. It doesn't matter if it's COVID or whatever it is, that's just what we do. So perfect time for individualized medicine.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jackie, for taking your time out. I know it's after your bedtime, doll.
I know. Well, now that we're in the country, we go to bed early. It's dark here. It's cold.
Beautiful. Is there any last questions for Jack before we kind of move on to the next little topic before we head to bed? No. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Jack. It's an absolute pleasure.
Happy to have a chat with anyone. I'm probably better one-on-one than talking to big groups anyway, so I'm happy to.
Oh, you've done well. It's great.
I could talk about herbal medicine till I'm blue in the face, so feel free to ask a question or a book or something.
No worries.
Yeah.
And just to finish up tonight, and then I might throw to Chris if he's up for a meditation or something before we go, but I often like to just check in for the group just to see if there's any vibrational stuff coming up. And it was really interesting. So anyone that knows the doTERRA oils, Clary Calm came up. And it's actually it's a women's monthly blend. So I always think of it sort of from a practical perspective. It's around menstruation and things like that. I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. Like, why would that one come up? So I decided to have a look at the emotional energetics of that particular thing. And look, there's lots of it, but these were the two things that came out. Fear of rejection. And fear of being emotionally open and vulnerable. So fear of rejection and fear of being emotionally open and vulnerable. And to me, I think I can just reflect on what sort of came up for me, but, you know, we can be emotionally open and vulnerable in this space, but do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily that easy once you sort of head back out into general population at the moment. I think a lot of us are squashing our truth to a degree. Some people are just, you know, doing life and not much has changed. And a few of us are kind of like, the rejection around jobs, the rejection around family, rejection around friendships. There seems to be a lot going on. So just thought I'd throw that out if anyone, even just to some for you to think about, but if there was any insights into that or just feelings around that. I can hear everyone thinking. It's good. Sally was up in a visual center.
What was the first one again, Kim?
Fear of rejection.
And then the second one?
A fear of being emotionally open and vulnerable.
Right. Yeah, I've just found it really interesting, like, because I think that fear of rejection is like being rejected from society, right? Like really looking at how the choices that we're choosing to make and being strong to our values runs us at a risk of being social outcasts effectively from society right now. And as you said, I know on this call, it's very easy to sit here and have support, which is great. But I know as of last week, there were 2 corporate events that I was unable to attend based on they were going to be, at lunches. And people within my organization, and I guess now outside of that, know where my stance is. And the reason that I can't show up is because of the choices I'm making around my own health. And whilst I didn't necessarily feel they were rejecting me, there was a rejection in that, right? Like people I've been working with for 8 or 9 months, haven't met face to face, the opportunity to, get there and meet them. But the reality that no, you can't go because we're choosing to have it at a venue where you're not welcome right now. So yeah, that's definitely shown up for me in this last week. And I think without the support of this group, it would have been harder to deal with. But at the same time, just feeling supported in my values and my truth, I'm okay and going, guys, like, we'll continue to do business together. And yeah, the fact that I can't meet you at a pub for lunch isn't going to really change my relationship. And, when things change, we'll be able to meet in person, but certainly not going to be coerced into any other decision just based on those sort of social freedoms. So.
And I guess, that's where that law of least effort kind of kicks back into, isn't it? It's like, acceptance, pretty tricky right now. I know Laurie Ladd always reflects on that, and she's just like, yep, that's no worries. Enjoy your lunch, and just kind of going, you do you, I'm going to do me, which, is a challenge. Easy for some, hard for others, easy in some instances and not in others. Sarah asked, how would you use that? If you've got it, I just chuck it on your wrist at the moment. That'll cover heart, pericardium and lung. Lung will cover off any grief and evolution that's happening in your system. Pericardium obviously protecting your heart and your emotions, and then your heart, that's heart 7, 6 and 5. So they're all about being able to see past this. I think as much as everyone's freaking out that December 1 may shift, I think it was a bit of a gift, for a lot of people to go, okay, phew, like at least I don't feel like this is, 10 years down the track. Like December 1 felt like a bit of a, okay, I can, even though they might change it, I feel like I can get my head around a couple of months and then see where it goes from there. So was there any other things people wanted to share? Is there anything about planting, Marty and Sal, that you needed to kind of update or get some help on? Was there any other questions or comments from anybody? Any solutions need to be found this week?
I'll just update on plants, I guess. Our natives, we're sort of having a break this week from them. We need some time off, but we're sort of taking this time to focus on other people's places. So we're doing a bit with Loz, and we're going to check with you, Kim, if we could sort of do it a bit up the back there. And yeah.
We're thinking maybe Tuesday.
That's perfect.
Yep, cool, very good. So yeah, if we can get a few different people growing food, I think that's better than just us doing it. So we plenty of time to do our place. Was there anything else? I think
there's fruit trees.
Oh yeah, we do have extra fruit trees too, that we need to plant. We need to get them planted ASAP. It's probably
we're doing that Wednesday.
So we're doing that Wednesday. So it's a week of tree planting.
Some different trees.
Yeah. I was going to make a comment here about the rejection. I think for us, like this whole rejection from society, it's kind of like pushed us in the right direction, because we're like, yes, finally they've kicked us out. We can make because we've sort of been probably too comfortable. Like, within society, knowing that, you know, a lot of what's going on is wrong, but still feeling too much in our comfort zone and not feeling it necessary to take that step to actually like find other solutions. But now we're like, you know what, stuff you guys, we're going to make something better. And yeah, we're being propelled towards that, which I think is really cool.
I think it works well in with the fear of, but having that conversation about your feelings and your beliefs, and sitting there and having that conversation when you're being rejected from something. And if you're talking to somebody and you're seeing that they have similar feelings and they have similar beliefs, then you sort of start to see a connection between why it is we might be getting rejected. So it's interesting having conversations with a lot of other people, and they sort of have that similar emotional feeling, values, sort of that are, yeah, similar beliefs, I guess, and yeah, suffering the same consequences, being rejected.
And I can sort of see how it's relevant to the fear, like the vulnerability type stuff, is that I guess we're in a position where we kind of want to know where we all stand on this and like to what extent, you know, we want to make these changes. But then putting it out there is a little bit like, oh, what if I say something and it's like, you know, people aren't on the same page as me? I don't know if that makes sense.
It's sort of fear of further rejection, I guess. Once your group starts getting smaller, if you're to share something that somebody didn't approve of, then you could suffer further rejection and shrink into a smaller group. But even though it's a fear, it shouldn't stop us from doing that. It could be the one thing that really helps us move forward.
Yeah. So it's our input.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Anyone else? Beck coming in?
Yeah. On with that fear of like that rejection, like what Sal said, you know, sort of like a rejection, it's shooting you in the right direction. Sort of like whether or not they're rejecting you, and again, like what Chris was saying, it's like a forced rejection with what's happening. It's not actually the fact that somebody else is rejecting you. It's just this forced rejection that we could think that it's them rejecting us, and they would think it's we're, you know, the opposite rejecting them or whatever. It's more like a forced rejection, but then shooting you in a better direction that, you know, maybe there's stuff that you've been sitting on the borderline of, you know, friendships, right? For instance, I'll go that way because that's a big thing for me at the moment. And it's like, it's been a forced thing. I know that they're actually not rejecting me. It's just like, we're not on the same path. And I completely, you know, respect that they've gone their own way, or, you know, they're doing things. So say there's a few obviously like events coming up that I can't go to, but there's a whole group of them that can, and you're the only one. And you're like, yeah, cool, I'm out, you know. I'm not even going to be a part of the conversation because it's, this, I don't know, this odd feeling in there. So it's like just deleting yourself from that and then going, okay, I'm meant to go this way. I'm not, you know, because it sucks. I don't really care. I don't really want to socialize anyway, but these events I've never really been to before, and I don't really want to, but yeah, it's just, I think there's pros and cons to it all, but yeah, it's definitely happening big time. So that's funny when you said that, Kim, that the like Clary Sage, and last week, what are we today? Thursday, when you said whisper as well, I've been wearing that every day.
Oh, good for you. And Newey's stage name, he's like, don't do it. Well, it's Whisper, WISPA, and now he's holding. So there is a whole other life that everybody has to tap in down there. Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, look, it was interesting, you know, when like preparing for tonight's call, because Jackie and I were part of a big clinic that I owned in Sydney, and it went fucking south big time when my dad got really sick and I was having to travel a lot down here, and there was some real toxic energy in the clinic, and it's long story, but it blew up, and it, you know, I kind of got rejected out the other side. And Jackie was a beautiful support through all of that. But it's really interesting. It's like at the time I felt like it was this big ending, but do you know what I mean? It's like as soon as I got out and actually just went into my own practice again, and I didn't have all these other people to worry about, my profitability increased, my stress definitely reduced. I got to hold on to the best parts of the clinic, which was, you know, people like Jackie and another beautiful woman called Ondina. So yeah, it's funny how these things are, you know, they feel horrible in the moment, but yeah, they do project us in different ways and towards different groups of people. The other interesting part is that I've had somebody reach out tonight because as these mandates increase, I think we're going to find that people who have very much been under the radar are going to show up and probably need some extra support. So don't be surprised if people start to reach out. I think I've been to Woolworths all of 2 times, you know, in the last however many months, and brave enough to not wear my mask. And because I didn't wear my mask, this person's reached out to me, hoping that I might have some ways to support them through the mandate coming forward. So that felt really nice too. So yeah, like we do play a role in, you know, I think Jade had a beautiful one, you know, when you feel like everything's falling apart, somebody else thinks you're inspiring. So clearly my, you know, 2 times through Woolies has actually inspired somebody enough to reach out. So that's kind of nice. Beautiful. How are we going for time? So about 5 to 10.
Kim,
so,
can I just say one other thing? You know how you were talking about reality versus preference the other day? Like I nearly see that flipped on its head when you talk about this rejection piece. Like Beck was saying, it's pointing you in another direction, right? So like our preference might have been to stay on our old path because it was comfortable and easy. But like I know for Amber and myself, we trust that we're always being divinely guided. Even when it's uncomfortable, it is working out for our highest good. And so those rejections, I haven't seen them as stuff I can't do. I've seen it as a divine sign of, hey, you're not meant to be doing that shit anyway. So, you know, like if they're the areas you don't need to be, you can be connecting in nature more. Like we went for that hike yesterday. I'm like, sweet. Like this is the stuff I'm meant to be doing, is connecting with nature, connecting in community, having conversations about conscious food production, you know, speaking about health. Like all the so-called rejections that we're getting are just divine to push us in the way that we're meant to be. So, you know, that reality versus preference, like it's, yeah, our preferences are pretty skewed at times, right? So looking at if we trust the realities pushing us where we need to be and that we're all staying true to our values, I think, yeah, like even though we don't know how it's unfolding, it's definitely unfolding the way it should.
Absolutely. Such wisdom.
I just wanted to say one more thing. We've sort of discussed with a few different people about doing like a round table discussion. I don't like a round table sort of a...
Just getting together and having a face-to-face discussion.
More of an in-depth kind of like solutions-based forward to really, I don't know how to word it. It was your idea.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, just really nutting things out, actually really coming to some solutions. So we thought we'd have, if we could do something where we could get somebody to look after the kids so that we could all be in a headspace where we could really focus and then really just sort of work some things out. So if anyone is interested in doing that, let us know. I'm not going on social media now. So if people need to contact us, you're going to have to text or call. So I don't know if everyone has
Sally will put the numbers up there.
Oh, I can do that now. Like I'll just, because I'm on there for the minute, but I'll put my number up.
Will you keep Messenger, Sal, or that?
No, we have like a brick phone, so I don't even think it can do the whole Messenger thing.
It doesn't do internet.
Yeah. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah. But I'll put the number up. So I'd like to do that sort of sooner rather than later, this roundtable, because I think that we're kind of coming up to a critical point.
So the purpose of the roundtable is we're going to take some big steps in what we're doing soon, and we really want to narrow in our direction, and we're going to need some more suggestions and some assistance along the way.
It's for us to see where people are at and how, like, to what extent they kind of want to be involved in what we're doing as well. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll just work out a time and see, or if people sort of let me know around about when they're available and who's keen. So yeah. And yeah, the hike yesterday, it was really awesome. So I think I'd like to organise that monthly. I think it's really good for us to
not to the rock.
We're gonna not just to the rock every time because it was bloody tough. Well, I had a hard time. So yeah, we'll just, if some people have suggestions of different places, and we can choose those. So that's the plan with that. But yeah, that's it.
You and your cold robes.
What?
Beck. She's it's Steve. I'll give you that credit, mate. Give you that credit.
Harry Potty.
All right, Chris, are you up for a meditation, or would you like me to run something tonight?
Oh, Kim, you're doing such a great job. You might as well just keep going tonight.
Okay. Mine's very different to his, but you know, it's all part of it, right? So yeah, thanks everybody. Yeah, I just think coming together in such a positive way a couple of times a week, I think it's really supported everybody. It definitely, we all run that up and down roller coaster. And yeah, I noticed that some are up some nights and some are down some nights, but that's the beauty. And, you know, we're all sort of there and supporting each other. So if you guys just want to, find a nice spot to snuggle down, feel free to turn off your video if you like. And yeah. So I can't guarantee it's going to be silent. There seems to be a mouse issue in our house tonight. So Dylan's stomping things left, right, and centre. Okay. So just get you to close your eyes. And I'm just going to get you to focus on your out breath. And I just want you to take some really long, deep breaths out. Breathe out like you were breathing out through a straw. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to release every last molecule of air from your lungs. So push on your diaphragm. And release every last molecule of air. And you'll notice that you start just drawing in a beautiful, spontaneous, deep breath. And with each out breath, just want you to focus on any of those feelings of rejection. Any of that fear about vulnerability or being open. And I want you to breathe them out. I want you to let go of all of that negative vibration. I want you just to scan your body and feel where that vibration's been held. Is it your jaw, shoulders, your back? Scan right through and release air through that area of your body. Letting go of anything that no longer serves you. And then I want you to bring your focus back to your heart. Feel that warm vibration. That connection to the heartbeat. And I actually want you to start breathing in that pure connection to your values. Breathing in that sense of trust that you're on the right path, you're with the right people. And allowing that beautiful high vibration to now start to track through your body, vibrating from the heart and out through the arteries, right through to the toes and right through to the fingers. You may pick up that circular vibration of the blood rotating through the body. And now we're going to anchor this beautiful vibration to Mother Earth. So I want you to now come back to your out breath, and I want you to use your out breath to push this beautiful vibration down and out through the base of your feet. And feel the roots of your energy being supported by the earth below your feet. Allowing the roots to grow deeper and deeper into the earth. The soil accepting your roots. And now really tightening up and creating support for your base. So that you are connected to the earth. And now I want you to shift focus to the in-breath. I want you to breathe up from earth, allowing her nutrients, her water to nourish your cells, to nourish your body. And allow that beautiful energy from earth to come right up through your crown and connect to heaven. So breathing up from earth and now breathing down from heaven. And allowing your body to be a connection point between the two. Supported from earth, blessed from heaven. And now allowing that energy to form a circle around you. That same circular vibration that exists within your body and the flow of blood. Allow that beautiful circular vibration to now create a beautiful protective bubble around your energy that allows you to sit in vulnerability, allows you to sit in faith, hope, and trust. Feel free to extend that beautiful bubble to your family and friends. And just getting clear that standard reality is not our reality, and that's okay. Asking for protection, keeping you safe. Just allowing that beautiful heart energy to meet the edge of your bubble, creating growth and strength. And allowing you to stand unapologetically in your truth. Feel your spine becoming stronger, your posture becoming upright, and a sense of strength and courage flowing through you. And I want you to push that beautiful strength down into your toes, through your feet, through your knees, coming up through your hips, your belly, your chest, shoulders, elbows, wrists, and hands. Breathing up through your center, your belly button, sternum, throat, nose, crown. And just taking a moment to focus on your jaw. Just letting your tongue go in your jaw, letting your whole mouth relax. And releasing any tension through that area. And now just taking the next 10 to even 15 breaths. Just to very gently and very slowly start bringing yourself back into the space. But bringing with you all of the attributes you want to walk into your day tomorrow. Being able to emerge a fresher, more courageous version of yourself. And leaving behind tension, emotional, physical, spiritual. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, I encourage you to very gently and slowly open your eyes. Whispers awake. Yep.
Is the mouse dead yet?
I don't know. Was there lots of banging and crashing? I do
Only just
apologize. What's that? We'll put an order into Miller's for the colt ropes. Okay, good job, good job. Lots of love, guys. Float into the new week. We'll chat again on Thursday. We've put it on Newey next Sunday to take us through fasting and all of the learnings that he has had through his extensive work with Tyler Tolman. Jackie, you'd always be welcome to join us on calls. It's a beautiful space, beautiful group. So yeah, please feel free to, feel the connection. But yeah, much love, everybody. And yeah, hopefully you can step into the new week just a little bit more refreshed and hopefully a little bit lighter.